guys, welcome back to Beaneater Buzz. Jordan Hunt here, back here again with Colleen McGuire.
Hello, everyone.
What's up? How's it going?
Not much. Not much is up.
Yeah,
Just,
waiting on
as
baseball.
always, waiting for baseball.
Yeah,
Yep, that's pretty
it.
much where I'm at right now.
That's
Football's
about it.
over. Now I'm just waiting for baseball.
What's that? Football? I don't know what football is. No,
Never heard of that one. Soccer?
I don't hate football. I just don't like football the way I like baseball. So it's just like,
oh, I agree.
I've got other things going on during the off season. I kind of utilize that time to spend more time with my family, whatever.
That's good. That is.
I don't have time for another sport. Now, I did think about taking up hockey. I love hockey.
That's how I was too. I was like, oh, but there's not much hockey on near me. I have to ESPN Plus and all that.
It's just like baseball. Yeah, you got to pay for a damn subscription to be able to watch it, and it's like, do I really want to pay for another subscription?
I don't like hockey that much.
Not really. Yeah. So yeah, I pay for baseball because I love baseball, and because without baseball, I'd go crazy.
Yep.
Without hockey, I do just fine. Yeah. So yeah. So
lived like without hockey, so I can continue to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So all right. So guys, we're back again with the player previews or position previews, I guess, because we're not really talking about just the players. We're talking about certain positions. Last episode we went over corner, infield, first and third base. This time we're going to be going over the middle infield, talking about second base, talking about shortstop and the shortstop battle that's going to take place in spring over the next few weeks. I think we'll probably start with Ozzie Albies at second base. That one's kind of locked in. So,
yep.
Just to touch on Ozzie, injuries. Destroyed his 2022 season. He broke that foot in Washington, as you pointed out to me earlier. Not in Colorado. I don't know why I thought it was Colorado. And then broke the pinky and just, I don't know. It was just a disappointing year for Ozzie all around. And I kind of like that because I think that'll lead to him having
something to prove.
Yeah. And especially with everybody calling him overrated, which is like wild. It's like this guy has been
I don't understand
a
that
really
at
good
all.
player for a long time now. Like, why are we all of a sudden just saying he's just terrible? Like, I don't think anybody ever called him a superstar.
A guy who's making $35 million over 7 years.
Yeah.
Underpaid and overrated. Gotcha.
Yeah, underpaid and overrated. That's what I was about to say.
Sure.
The opposite of every other player in the game. So, yeah. Ozzie, 2022, 247, 294, 409, 305 WOBA, 297 expected WOBA, 93 weighted runs created plus, 1.1 F4, 8 homers, 35 RBIs in 64 games. Not much there to really be like, oh, well, he was good at this. Like, I mean, just
having an average year.
He just wasn't himself ever.
Mm-hmm.
And Ozzie is not typically like a superstar caliber, superstar caliber bat. He posts about a 105 to 110 weighted runs created plus. So like, he wasn't super far off of that with 93.
Mm-hmm.
But he also...
And it probably would have been closer to what we've seen from him if he played the other 100 games in the season.
Right, because he would have had his hot streaks and stuff.
Yeah, the 93, you can't put too much weight in that.
Right. Yeah, I just think that, like you said, I think Ozzie's got a lot to prove this year. Mm-hmm. He doesn't need to prove it to us. We know who he can be. But he's got a lot to prove to himself, I'd say. Probably wants to prove to himself that, hey, like last year was just kind of a fluke. Injuries happen. That's unfortunate, but I think he's going to go out there and I think we're going to see a much better year from Ozzie. Zips has him.
I hope so.
Actually, Zips has him quite nice, to be honest. They've got him projected pretty well. 270, 321, 471, 340 WOBA with a 117 weighted runs created plus, 3.6 F4, 22 homers, 11 stolen bases, and 85 runs. I think he's going to steal more than that now with the bigger bases.
Yeah, 11 seems though. I mean, he stole 20
I was gonna
last
say, I
year.
think he stole 20 in 2022 or
15 in
2021, right?
2019 and 14 in 2018. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think
so 11 seems pretty low for a
yeah,
guy who has done that, and the bases are going to be bigger.
yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
that Ozzie could have another 2020 season.
Mhm.
It's crazy that
Oh,
in
I
2021 he
think
had a 2020 season and nobody even said anything about it.
yeah. Right.
Like,
Oh, but he's overrated, Jordan.
but he's overrated. Yeah, he's
He had
overrated.
30
Huge,
home runs.
big
He
time
had such a good
overrated.
year. Like I feel like everyone just had such a good year in 2021.
Over,
Yeah.
he had 30
Um,
homers, over 40 doubles, and 20 stolen bases.
yeah.
That's overrated. If that's
Yep, yep.
overrated, I will get all the overrated guys on my team, every single one. So,
Give me all the overrated
and
men.
and let's all like acknowledge the fact that he also plays elite defense.
Mhm.
So, I get it that a lot of people don't like Ozzie because he's a Brave. It's the same, all these other fans. Like, I get it. Like,
That has to be the only reason because, like,
it
he's
has
one
to
of the
be the only
nicest
reason.
guys, so personable, a good player, just a solid dude all around.
Yep. And
Okay.
and again, nobody is saying he's a superstar. Like,
Right.
he's an all-star caliber player because he's made the all-star game twice. But he's also not as bad as some people say he is. That's the way I
Not
would say it.
close. Yeah, I don't get
Like,
that at all, but
I'll take what Ozzie
hopefully he goes
provides
and
at second
proves all
base
the
over and over again every year. I'll take it
yeah.
every year for
And he's now the longest tenured
longest
Brave as
tenured
well.
Brave. That is
He is our
crazy.
guy
It doesn't feel like he's the longest tenured Brave, but he
because
is.
he's only been around for 6
Yeah,
years.
I mean, that just shows you how much. That shows you how much work Alex Anthopoulos has done on the roster over the last 5 years.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
in
For sure.
2017, when Alex took over, going into the 2018 season, the I don't know, there was some guys that we thought would be here for ever.
Mhm.
Freddie being one.
Ender,
And
probably at that
Ender,
point, you
dude,
would
I
think he
thought for
was the guy.
sure. I mean, 2017, Ender had over 200 hits. I think we were all looking at Ender and we were like,
Yeah,
God, I
the
forget all
long-term
about him. I
effect
feel
of it.
so terrible about it, but I forget all about Ender and Zarte.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Alex has done some great work on the roster, and I mean, a lot of it had to do with Dana Brown, what he did in the minors and stuff. So credit to him too. He's doing some wild shit in Houston already. That dude is
Mhm.
not fucking around. He's getting ready to extend everybody. He's getting ready to go the Alex route. So, um,
2 best
so
teams
yeah,
in baseball, the Astros and Braves.
yep. Hopefully it'll be like that for a long time too.
Mhm.
Because I mean, they clearly both got the best front offices. I mean, the Dodgers definitely have an argument there.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
think what they're
Dodgers
doing right
for
now is
sure, yeah.
definitely more calculated than just sucking. Like
Mhm. Yeah, and they still
they're
won't suck anyway.
yeah.
I
No,
still
they're
wouldn't be
not.
surprised if the Dodgers won the division.
No.
It's all
I
talk,
don't
talk,
know. The
talk with the
Padres,
Padres, and they
dude.
are, but I'm also like, the Padres find a way to just
It looks like everybody still projects the Dodgers to win the division.
yeah, I'm seeing both. I've seen both. Some have the Dodgers, some have the
I have a
Padres. So yeah,
hard
it'll be
time
interesting.
believing that though, with like they have like Trace Thompson, and then like
Yeah.
God, who's
Yeah,
even
oh, the
playing
Padres
left
are
field
gonna
for
be
them?
really good.
Yeah, the Padres are going to be scary good.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
If
We'll
everyone,
see.
again, as with anything, stays healthy. But
And talk about guys who are going to have a prove it year. Juan Soto, like,
Mhm.
wasn't. I say he wasn't that good last year. Like,
I feel like just with the Padres, he really wasn't what he could have been.
I
I
mean,
feel
yeah,
like
even with the Nationals, he was just walking a shit ton.
yeah, because
Like,
nobody was good on that team. Why
yeah,
even
nobody
pitch
wanted
to
to
Juan
face that
Soto?
guy. Like, it was crazy. It was insane to even throw him a single fastball. So, but I think that he's going to have a gigantic
Yeah,
year. I think it's going to
that
be
team
Acuna and
around him
Soto
for sure.
again. Like,
Yeah.
we no longer have Acuna versus Soto in the same division, but we might have Acuna versus Soto for like MVP chase this year.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that.
Mhm.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I kind of miss Acuna versus Soto. It was
Yeah.
really fun. Every time they'd come
you're
in
right.
or
I'm
we'd
thinking of
go
like
there, it was
18,
like,
19 or whatever. I guess it was
yeah, man.
2019. Yeah.
I remember there was one game where it was like that was the big talk, like, oh, these two studs are gonna play each other this weekend, and it was like first inning, like Soto hit a homer, and then like 3 innings later, Ronald hits like a 2-run scoring triple to like give us the lead, and it was like, this is insane. Like, we're just watching these two
Yeah.
fucking
2019 was
superstars.
fun with the Nats and Braves rivalry.
Oh yeah, it was, because they were still really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, they ended up winning the World Series that year. So
Yeah. You're pretty good to win a World Series. So yeah, that's
you gotta be there. You gotta figure some
decent.
shit out to get there. So, do you have steamer projections on Ozzy?
I do.
Okay.
So Steamer says 258, 311, 443 slash line with a 326 WOBA and a 108 weighted runs created plus, 3.1 WAR. And then they say 20 home runs, 16 stolen bases, which seems more
Yeah,
in
that seems
line with
about
what I
right.
would expect from him. Yeah. So
Okay.
that's
So
about
the
sort of
common
Ozzy.
consensus is Ozzy still possesses the power that he's always possessed. What do they have, like 35 doubles, something like that?
Where do I see the doubles?
So go
Beth? I
down
have
to
to
the
scroll
next
down.
section.
Oh yeah. 31 for
31.
Steamer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what does Zips have?
32.
32. Oh,
Mhm.
okay. So they're projecting him to not get 40 doubles in a full season for the first time in his career. That's interesting. But what do they have him for games played? That's one thing I didn't look up.
Steamer 136, Zips
Okay.
133.
Okay, so
Which
they
I'd be
expect him to
more than
have
happy with that. Yeah.
a little. Yeah, I'd be pretty stoked with that. So, I think with Ozzy again, it's just he's going to have to come back from those injuries. I mean, clearly he's healthy right now. He's
Right.
gonna
And it's not like Ozzy is injury prone. It's not like he's got some
He's
injury
not at
history. It
all.
was a freak injury followed by another freak injury last
Yeah,
year.
I mean, 2018, 19, and 21. Like, he played like 150 games
Yeah.
in each season, right?
158, 160, 156. Yeah. So
Right.
he's
Yeah. So he played at least 156 games in all 3 of those seasons.
the full
The
season.
only other season that he's missed, quote unquote, significant time was 2020. And the only reason it was significant time was because it was only a 60-game year and he missed half the season.
Yeah.
So
it was less of a season to have played.
Right. So to call Ozzy injury prone is just, it's uneducated for one, because you're obviously not looking up the facts on it. And it's not fair to Ozzy because, like you said, the 2 injuries he had last year were both completely freak injuries.
It wasn't like he's pulling hammies and those kind of things.
Yeah.
It's just
he's never had like a nagging injury like that. Like the wrist in 2020 was a little bit of a pain in the ass. But he was clearly healthy by the time the postseason came around.
Yeah.
So I think Ozzy's going to be right back to being Ozzy this year. And I don't think we really have anything to worry about at all there. I think that's going to be just fine. So,
yeah.
Now shortstop is interesting.
Shortstop is interesting.
Yeah, it's we got a guy who at one point was an everyday major league shortstop in Orlando Arcia. He still plays solid defense. The Braves have clearly tweaked something in his swing because he's been a much better hitter with the Braves the last 2 years than he was with the Brewers. I mean, he hit what? I didn't write anything down for Arcia. That's my fault.
I got him up here.
How many games did he play? Or let's not say games, because a lot of it would be like pinch hit appearances. But how many at bats did he have in 2022?
209.
And he hit 9 homers, right?
He hit 9 homers, 9 doubles.
And I'm pretty sure like 5 of those homers were against the Nationals. This poor bastard.
He loved hitting in
He
Nationals Park.
just crushed them this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, in 209 at bats, he had 9 homers. You stretch that out to 400 at bats, you're looking at 18 homers. Stretch that out 600 at bats, you're looking at close to 30 homers. Now, do I think that Orlando Arcia would ever be close to a 30 homer guy?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I think 20 might be the peak.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they've clearly figured something out in that bat. I wouldn't want him to be an everyday guy. If I had my pick, it would be Grissom.
I agree. I think the weaknesses start to show when he's
it was like
every day.
Same thing happened with Charlie Culberson all the time, right?
Yeah.
He would have those huge moments in those pinch hit appearances, a couple games here and there. He would have, a nice little stretch, but then the more he played, the more he got exposed, the less productive he became. And I feel it would be, from what I've seen, it's very much so the same thing with Arcia. And I like Arcia a lot, but I think him as a utility guy is just, he's a fantastic utility guy.
Yeah.
I think we don't acknowledge that enough, just how solid of a trade that was.
Yeah.
I mean, we traded 2 guys who had virtually no future in baseball. The one that we kind of missed, God, what were they? It was Chad Sabatka, and who was the other guy? It was a guy that we thought was going to be a part of the future at one point.
Look up that trade, because I don't know offhand who we traded him for.
When you say his name, I'm going to feel so dumb.
Patrick Weigel.
I
was going to say Jeremy Walker, but
Patrick Weigel. Oh, Jeremy Walker just signed with somebody, actually. So that was pretty cool. Patrick Weigel, I'm pretty sure he just got DFA'd, or at least recently got DFA'd. So we gave up 2 guys with no future.
Yeah.
For Orlando Arcia, and then just turned him into one of the best utility guys in baseball.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if we didn't have him last year when Ozzie got hurt.
Oh, dude, we would have been in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like most teams don't have a guy who was a starter previously to like just come in and take over a role. You're like, okay.
And another thing about Arcia that's so underrated is his clubhouse presence. Like,
yeah, the guy seemed to love him.
I mean, him and Heredia were like, they were like that last year.
Guys.
They were the 2 guys who they were always like, if there was hoodwinks going on, it was those 2 guys. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way I know how to describe it. Like
there were antics occurring.
They were the guys.
Yeah,
they were the guys. They were the original troublemakers, and Harris and Grissom are just carrying the torch now. So,
Troublemakers, the sequel.
So yeah, what do they have him projected for?
Let's see.
Let's go over. Just tell me what he did in 2022.
So in 2022, his slash line was 244, 316, 416, with a 104 weighted runs created plus and 0.7.
Yeah, that's nice.
WAR on Fangraphs. Yeah, let's see. So it was 9 homers, 30 RBIs, or RBI. Sorry. And then
I say RBIs. I don't care what anybody
says. Like RSBI.
Yeah. Yeah. RSBI.
Yeah, and then so let's see. So Zips for 2023 has him projected 240, 303, 387 slash line, 302 WOBA, 91 weighted runs created plus, 1.4 WAR. Steamer is 247, 312, 398. So they like him a little bit more. 311 WOBA, 98 weighted runs created plus, and 1 WAR. So
okay, so they've got him projected to be.
For some, I guess Zips thinks he's going to be our starter because they have him at 110 games. Steamer says 70.
How many plate appearances do they have him at though?
390.
Okay, so they've got him playing a lot.
Yeah, like being the guy for the most
for
a lot of
that. I don't.
Yeah, I don't either. I think it's Grissom's job to lose.
Yeah, I think it's clearly Grissom's job to lose. They would not have spent as much time working with him defensively this offseason if they didn't say, hey, like, this is our guy. We're going with this guy, and we're going to ride it until we can't ride it anymore. RC is a solid backup plan.
Agreed.
And we also have Adrianza
Forgot about that. We do.
that we're gonna stash in AAA.
Yeah.
So he could end up coming up and being the utility guy. If we do have
Mhm.
to go with Arcia, I just don't see that being a realistic scenario, though. There's a
Yeah, and I
reason
know
that
we
Arcia
briefly,
isn't a starter anymore.
we were talking about Elvis Andres before we started recording, and I feel like if
Right.
Grissom has a poor spring and Andres is still unsigned,
We
do they
might
go with
just jump.
RC or do they try to reach out to him about a 1-year deal? Which at that point, I feel like he'd take a 1-year deal because he hasn't signed anywhere. Like, I'm
I don't
surprised
know
he
how he
hasn't,
hasn't
but
signed.
yeah.
So many teams are
So
still looking for a shortstop.
yeah. So either he's looking for a big deal after he had a pretty good year. I don't
Yeah.
know the situation, but I wonder if that
Yeah,
would
if
be
he's
an
trying
option
to
versus
bank
just going
on
with Arcia.
if he's trying to bank on having a good year last year, like I think that's probably what's holding him back from
Yeah.
getting a deal right now, because teams like, yeah, sure, they'll look at that and they'll say, hey, like he was all right. He's still got some wheels. I think he stole 18 bases, hit 17 homers,
Good
like
defense.
good defense. Like, but then when you look at the batted ball profile, like it's not good.
Some luck. Yeah.
So there was some like serious luck there for him. So I think teams value that a lot more than they used to. In this age of, what does he say? What the fuck? It's just
High velocity and strikeouts.
high velocity and strikeouts. Yeah. So
It's funny because I remember, I guess probably before any of the big shortstops had signed, and somebody, Bowman or somebody, was like, "Oh, Elvis Andrus is a possibility." And I remember I was like, we will run Anthopoulos out of town."
Me too.
And now I'm just like, I take it. Like, if
Yeah.
they did, that was the decision, I'd be fine with it. Like, the
Well,
more
for
I thought
me,
about it.
the problem for me was, for whatever reason, when I first looked up his because when that came up, I was like, I don't like that. Like, I don't want Elvis Andrus. And then I looked up his stats, and for whatever reason, I got it into my head that he was a terrible defender, which is actually opposite of the truth. He's actually a very good defender. So I don't know why I got so worried about that, but now I'm like, hey, Elvis Andrus, like, that would be a good option. Like, he plays good defense, and that's really what we need. Like,
Right.
our
They don't
lineup is
necessarily
very
need the bat.
strong. We don't like, now that's the one thing with Grissom. If we get if we can get average defense out of Grissom, I really like it, because the kid's going to be able to hit. He might struggle a little bit this year with the bat because, he's going to be so focused on his defense. But I don't know. I think projections are pretty low for him. Most of them have him like, let's see. Well, here, let me go over Grissom real quick.
Grissom. Yeah.
Yeah. Grissom last year, and this was only in like 51 games, I think. I can't remember how many
41.
games he played. 41. So 291, 353, 440, 345 WOBA. Expected WOBA was 326, though. So he outperformed that a little bit. Yeah. Weighted runs created plus a 121.7 F4. Oh, yeah, I have it right there. 41 games. I don't know why I didn't see that a second ago. 5 homers, 18 RBIs, 5 stolen bases. He doesn't have a huge sample size on defense, clearly. But the sample size he did play wasn't very good. Negative 3 DRS, negative 5 outs above average. He had 4 errors. Most of that being,
he was negative
base,
5
though.
outs above average in those few games.
Yeah,
I don't know about all that.
But see, that was at second base, though, to be fair to him.
Yep.
And he's never played second base.
Yeah.
So he may not have been very comfortable out there. He did make some errors. And then a full offseason working with Wash. I think he spent 3 weeks with Wash. And
he's worked a lot with Wash.
He's worked very hard. Like, you got to respect that. And I think that it does. I don't know. I understand why people would be upset with that, because I wanted Carlos Correa. I was like, we need to fucking get Carlos Correa. Like, this is what we need to do.
Yeah.
But this just shows you that they're smarter than we are, because now We don't have Carlos Correa. We don't have Dansby
And
Swanson.
neither
We don't
do the
have Trey
Mets.
Turner.
So you know what?
Yeah.
So I will take it. Addition by
Yeah, right.
but
Yeah.
not really subtraction, but you know.
That was
Addition
pretty
by
good.
not.
That was nice. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, when they
Yeah.
signed Carlos Correa, I was
I was legitimately upset because
We're
that was the
fucked.
move that took them over the top of.
Oh
Now
yeah,
they're
and
our
then for
bet. They
them
are
to
better than
lose
us.
him was just like, oh man.
LOL Mets plus
Yeah.
Braves are still better.
Plus Braves are
It's
still better.
basically-
Yeah.
That's basically.
I think
what
it's
it was.
pretty close though. I mean, that's why we were
No,
so scared
the
because
Mets
we
are
know
great. I'm
it's
not saying the
close.
Mets aren't
Mets
good.
are
Yeah.
very good. But we still hate the Mets. So there's that.
The hatred was renewed for me last season.
It was, yes, very much so. And you know, it's weird because like I had kind of developed like a soft spot for the Mets over the last like 10, 15 years because like 1999, 2000, 2001, I fucking hated the Mets. I hated them so much. And then they just had like this embarrassing run of mediocrity and everything happening over and 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 over for the Mets. Like it just never ended. So I did kind of feel bad for them.
Yeah.
And then
especially with
last year
I have friends who are Mets fans, and I know that what they've gone through. So I'm like, all right,
man.
obviously, I'm sorry for you,
but then for them to have 1 year where they were good,
neck and neck with us, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I
do
hate the Mets.
yeah, it's like oh
Thank you
yeah,
for
this
the
is why I
reminder.
hated the
I
Mets.
needed the
remember now.
rivalry to be renewed.
Yeah, so
Yes.
so yeah,
anyway,
back into Grissom. Anyways, I did
digress.
really write down steamer projections for Grissom because I thought that people would hear Zip's projections and be like, you can't project a guy who only has like 41 games in the majors and blah blah blah. So I was like, okay, then we'll go over steamer projections as well. So Zip's projections have him at 254, 324, 374 with 97 weighted runs created plus, 2.2 F4, and a 310. Is that what? 310 WOBA with 12 homers, 74 RBIs, 16 stolen bases. So they do like his speed. And I wrote down that they have him at 2.7 defensive F4, which is kind of shocking that they haven't projected that high on defense.
Yeah. I agree. I'm just kind of looking at this, and like, so Zip's projected Arcia for 110 games. They're projecting Grissom for 133 games. So I don't know what they think Arcia is going to be doing, but yeah, 582 plate appearances. So they're pretty much he's the shortstop. Like he's the guy.
That's what they're projecting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe this is because they only projected Ozzie for like 133 games.
That's true.
So maybe they're projecting Arcia to have to fill in at second base. Yeah.
That could be.
So yeah, that could be what it is. Yeah, and then Steamer. I don't know what the fuck I wrote that out there for.
I have Steamer up if you want me to read it.
Yeah, but I just wrote 133 and 109. Oh, that's games.
109 games. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what that is. I wrote 133 games for Zip's projections.
Yep.
109 for Steamer projections.
Yeah, so Steamer thinks he's going to play fewer games.
Yeah. So, yeah, Steamer has him 272, 335, 418. They expect him to have a little more power, apparently.
I see something different on Steamer for him.
Really?
I see 269, 330, 401.
So they must have updated Steamer. Yeah. Because I did this like a week ago.
Oh, yeah, so maybe they did. Yeah, so they're showing him. Yeah, I don't know if this is more higher or lower. 269, 330,
so yeah,
401.
hit me with those.
321. Yeah. Okay, so 269, 330, 401 with a 321 WOBA, 104 weighted runs created plus, 1.9 WAR. And then, yeah, same thing with the 109 with the games, 412 plate appearances. And then they say 9 homers, 44 RBI, 11 stolen bases.
Okay. What do they have for the defensive F4? Should be all the way over to the right.
1.4.
Okay, that's what they have here too.
That seems legitimate.
So again, that's a positive F4 on defense that they're projecting there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why. I don't know what. Maybe they just truly believe in what Ron Washington's doing with him.
Mm-hmm.
That was the thing that stuck out to me the most, was that they seemingly really like Grissom defensively, which is interesting because the early returns at second base in the major leagues were not good. But again, not his division, or excuse me, not his position. He was filling in at a place where he had never played before. As I've said, I think that Grissom is going to be the guy.
It'd be awesome if he was. He'd be fantastic. He comes in, he's the next shortstop.
It would be incredible, right? Like,
he comes in, he's our Jeremy Pena. That'd be freaking
another
awesome.
example of the Braves just being that team that always has an answer. Like, and it would piss people off so bad.
Like, just like, they freaking got Freddie Walk. Then they just got Matt Olson. Now they're, obviously Matt Olson, we traded for him, but you know what I mean. And then it's like, oh, we're going to let Dansby walk. We're just going to bring in this guy and see what he can do. And then he ends up having a really good year. And they're just really, come on.
I truly believe that's what's going to happen because it has worked that way every other
time. And
time.
I feel like fans of other teams are saying, of course, it's going to work out for them because they're the Braves,
Yeah, of course they are. They're definitely saying that. They've said that to me.
Yeah.
I've actually had a lot of Mets fans be like, why don't you guys believe in Grissom? Like, he only played this much last year, but he was really good. But of course, Braves fans are always saying, yeah, but we're going from the best defensive shortstop in baseball to a guy that we have never actually seen play shortstop.
Yeah.
But I got to see a few clips this offseason of him playing shortstop in the minors. He seems to be very good. His range probably isn't exactly what you would want. But he's good with the glove. He's got a strong arm. It seems like the big issue with Grissom is that he tries to move too fast, and that ends up having him make errors. And that is also kind of what Wash said, that he needs to slow things down. Because he said, if you slow it down and you don't make the play or you don't get the out, at least you didn't make an error, is the way Wash said it. But if you speed up too fast and you make an error and you don't get the out, you didn't get the out because you made an error, not because you took your time trying to make the right play. So just from what Wash has said, I really think that's the big issue with Grissom. And if there's anybody who can fix an error issue, it's Ron Washington.
Oh, yeah. And they're during spring, they're going to be, I'm sure every day he's going to be out there.
I saw a video of them working together yesterday.
And all the,
and it looked pretty good.
I'm hopeful. I'm excited. I think it's, and some people will be like, oh, you're just, now that you didn't get Correa or Dansby, you're like, now I'm good with Grissom. But like, I was always like, let's see what the kid can do. Like, I feel like we have the luxury of that with like, we have so many good players that like, we can see what Grissom has. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know.
Well,
and again, at the deadline, who's to say if it ends up that like Arcia and Grissom are both like terrible and we're like, wow, we have nobody.
Right. And are we supposed to just be mad now that we didn't get Dansby or Correa or Turner or
Bogart? Never move on from it? It's like,
nope, somebody
still has to play shortstop.
Exactly. Somebody still has to play shortstop.
Right.
Grissom is a guy that's in our system. We've seen him like perform well at the plate
in the big leagues. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, sure. We can be optimistic about it.
Let's go.
Ron Washington has worked with multiple guys and turned them into elite defenders. Elvis Andrews, Marcus Semien.
I forgot about that connection too with Wash.
There's a whole list, man, that Wash changed these guys' careers. So Dansby Swanson is an example of that. When Dansby came up, he was not a great defender. And a lot of that, and Wash even said that himself. When he came up, he wasn't that good. But last year he won a Gold Glove, and he was clearly the best defender.
That's one thing you can
at
never
shortstop.
question with him. This is defense.
Who, Dansby?
Dansby, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean,
The
at this
bat could be a
point,
question a lot of the time, but
yeah, and at this point, he is a great defender. But he did have to work on that a lot, because I remember when he first came up, it was like, okay, he's good enough. And if Grissom can come up and be good enough, and then in a couple years, he's a little bit above average, I'll be very happy with that, because I think that his bat's always going to play. So, all right. Well, that's when it comes to the middle infield, that's really the big conversation.
Yeah.
Is Arcia Grissom. Ozzie's locked down. We know he's going to be there unless he gets injured. So,
please, no. Don't put it into the universe, Jordan.
Well, it's already out there, unfortunately. It happened over and over again last year. But I don't know. I'm very excited about the spring training competition. It's been a while since we've had a real spring training competition. I mean, you could say Riley and Camargo a few years ago, but it seemed like they were always leaning Riley.
Come on, Camargo.
Man, that guy, dude, that's
he was so good in 2018.
2018, he was insane. It was just like, okay, we got our third base.
This is our guy. Yep.
This is our dude. And then 2019, he was just terrible. 2020, terrible. 2021, he didn't have a single hit the whole season. Yeah. It's really hard to do that. Really hard. So
I feel like I maybe could get, if you gave me like as many at bats, I might be able to make contact.
A little dribbler down the left, down the third base line.
Be a bouncer over someone's head, but you know what? It's a
defender over there. Yeah,
the opposite of the ship.
Guys. You got I don't know, like a CC Sabathia type on the mound. He can't get to the ball quick enough. Like I could sneak out a hit somehow, but yeah. He also didn't have that many opportunities, so we'll say that. But yeah, so again, we appreciate you guys watching. We'll be back with more of these position previews. And I guess next time we'll probably touch on maybe the outfield. This is kind of what we'll go over next time. And then we'll move to catcher and then figure out pitching. So, but we appreciate you guys watching Beaneater Buzz again. And I hope you guys have a good day.
Take care, everyone. Go Braves.